You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.
This will change the whole outlook of the Chicago Bears defense. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, make sure you also do me a huge favor by also hitting the like button on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. So, Bears fans, we have talked a whole lot about the Chicago Bears defense, especially the defensive line. The question among Bears fans right now going into day 2 of Chicago Bears training camp is, should we add an edge rusher alongside Montez Sweat? Right now, when you look at the state of the Chicago Bears defensive line, especially at the edge rusher position, you have the Pro Bowler in Montez Sweat. And we are thinking, do we need that number 2 guy? You have guys like Austin Booker, the rookie out of Kansas. Of course, you have DeMarcus Walker as well. I think he is going to be huge for the Chicago Bears defensive line this year as well. That can play alongside Montez Sweat. But Bears fans, here's the interesting part now. After practice on Saturday, Montez Sweat actually dropped a major bombshell about Gervon Dexter. Check this out, Bears fans.
Yeah, he did the conditioning test with the damn DNs yesterday. And when we was in the position meet, he had a little beach. They put a picture of him in a little beach suit. He had the shirt out and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, he definitely made a transformation in his body. But, I mean, I always expected big things out of Javon. He's just waiting to blow, honestly.
So, Bears fans, let me get this straight, and you heard this exactly right from Montez Sweat. Gervon Dexter did his conditioning test with the edge rushers, which is extremely harder than the one that you'd have to do if he was just doing with the defensive tackles, and he passed it with flying colors. You heard Montez Sweat that they actually put a picture of Javon Dexter in like a beach suit, and you can definitely see the transformation from a guy like Javon Dexter. This is absolutely insane. And let me just put this in perspective for you guys on how impressive this is by second-year player Javon Dexter. Dexter came into the National Football League staying at 6'6", 310 pounds, and he is running the same conditioning test as guys like Austin Booker. And Austin Booker is only 240 pounds. That is not easy to do, Bears fans, but this is an exciting development when you look at a guy like Gervon Dexter. Dexter went through a whole body transformation this season. He became leaner. He became quicker to maximize his impact on the Chicago Bears defensive line. Once again, the Chicago Bears did not retain Justin Jones, the starting 3 technique for this Bears defensive line last year. So that means a guy like Gervon Dexter is the projected starter at the 3 technique position for the Chicago Bears. So he knew that he had to come back in better shape than he was last year, because last year during this time, he wasn't really in good shape. He wasn't lean. He wasn't quick. He definitely had the explosiveness, and he definitely had all the tools to be a really good asset to the Chicago Bears defensive line. But he knew that he had to do more this offseason, and his transformation was brought up at OTAs by head coach Matt Eberflus, but it was clearly evident on day 1 of Chicago Bears training camp during his conditioning test. And Bears fans, this is huge for the Chicago Bears defensive line, because when you think about Gervon Dexter's body transformation, him being leaner, him being quicker, and him already being explosive, being able to get into the backfield, not only will he be a huge asset playing that 3 technique position for the Chicago Bears defensive line, but he may have actually the ability to push outside and play edge rusher as well in certain situations for the Chicago Bears defensive line. And that versatility from Gervon Dexter will be absolutely crucial to the success of the Chicago Bears defensive line. And Dexter could truly be an X factor for the Chicago Bears this season and really elevate guys like Austin Booker, right, DeMarcus Walker, and even guys like Montez Sweat. Because if Gervon Dexter becomes a problem in the middle of that defensive line, and then he moves out at the edge rusher position, and he becomes a problem there as well, opposing offenses will no longer be able to double team Montez Sweat because of the fact that Gervon Dexter is absolutely tearing it up in the middle of that Chicago Bears defensive line. Once again, last season, Dexter exploded onto the scene as a rookie, especially in his final 5 games. He notched 2.5 sacks, and he was definitely getting into the backfield a lot more often. So that's why Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears and Matt Eberflus are so excited for Javon Dexter. Ryan Poles drafted Gervon Dexter out of Florida for a reason. They saw a whole lot of potential in him. And there was even a lot of talk that Florida wasn't even using Javon Dexter right. They brought Javon Dexter in. It took him a while. He didn't come on the scene quickly as a rookie, but you can definitely tell the development at the end of the season that he was starting to get into the backfield a lot more. Once again, had 2.5 sacks in his final 5 games. And I think the Bears fans and Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles were really excited for year 2 of Gervon Dexter. Now, once again, he is the projected starter for the 3 technique position for the Chicago Bears defensive line. And I believe that a guy like Gervon Dexter is in for a huge year. And I believe that he will make the Chicago Bears defensive line a whole lot better as well. When you really look at the top 3 techniques in the National Football League, they are slim and quick and explosive. And when you're looking at a guy like Gervon Dexter, not only from his time at OTAs this season, but during day 1 of Chicago Bears training camp, he looks slim, he looks quick, and he was already explosive last year for the Chicago Bears defensive line. So Bears fans, so far during OTAs and training camp, Gervon Dexter is checking all those boxes to become hopefully one of the better 3 techniques in the National Football League. And Bears fans, don't forget, and I want to bring this point up before I end today's episode of Kick on the Mic, don't forget that new Bears defensive coordinator, Eric Washington, is known to be one of the best defensive line specialists in the National Football League. He has worked with guys like Henry Melton, K'Wan Short, and Ed Oliver. So one can only imagine what he will be able to do with a guy like Gervon Dexter. So overall, in my personal opinion, I believe that this Bears D line is in really good hands. And I think going on to the conversation about how we're talking about, do the Chicago Bears need to add an edge rusher? I think that's why Ryan Poles is being patient, because of a guy like Gervon Dexter and the possible impact that he can actually have on this Bears defensive line. When you look at the good defensive lines around the National Football League or in the history of the National Football League, you usually have one good edge rusher and you have one good guy or solid guy in the middle of that defensive line. Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus are hoping that it's Montez Sweat and Gervon Dexter. So if Gervon Dexter can reach his full potential that Ryan Poles and the Matt Eberflus and the Chicago Bears believe that he can reach, I think the Chicago Bears defense will probably not need to sign another edge rusher. You could still go out and maybe get another guy if you want to, but if Gervon Dexter is able to reach his full potential, it won't be necessary, because then you have Montez Sweat, Gervon Dexter, you still have Andrew Billings and Zach Pickens, and then you just have to lean on guys like DeMarcus Walker and Austin Booker, and I think that would just be plenty for the Chicago Bears defensive line to be successful, but it does hinge on the fact that Gervon Dexter has to reach the full potential. It's great that he's doing it in practice, but we have to see this in the games as well. And I truly believe that he can reach that full potential. And I truly believe that a guy like Gervon Dexter will have a major impact on the success of not only the Chicago Bears defensive line, but the Chicago Bears defense as a whole this season. So Bears fans, once again, just wanted to come on here really quick and give you guys an update on Gervon Dexter. It's amazing development that we're going to continue to watch during the remainder of training camp as well. I cannot wait to see him actually play in a game, to see how that offseason transformation benefits onto the football field as well. But Bears fans, before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. What is your predictions in terms of stats for the second-year player out of Florida and Gervon Dexter? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Kick on the Mic with every single Bears that you know. Better than that, be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Kick on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You've been listening to Kick on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.